Meme that says fans have noticed that all three rappers, YBC Doe, Lil Jeff, and Lil School, were killed in back-to-back months after dropping a song together. I believe Lil Jeff is from Chicago. Believe he's from Chicago.
They hate me, that mean they like me, or they do something, like, feel me, like, they paying attention. They paying attention, and I make them feel some type of way. So if I can make you feel some type of way, I'm gonna keep making you feel some type of way. Bro, all the real niggas fuck with me. What Lil Durk say at this at the end of that song? Like, real niggas fuck with me. Like, the street niggas can vouch for me. Anywhere I go, nobody don't play with me. I never got robbed. I never got touched, shot at in the city. Yeah.
Okay. Now, it brings me to this other case. I don't know if I watched this video on here, but I think I watched it otherwise. Did I watch this video? There's a character out of let me not call him a character, but there's a young man who got deceased out of Chicago named Lil Jeff, who people felt like he was mimicking exactly what King Von did. A guy who had supposedly 11 bodies. Now, Traplo Ross did a video on this. I'm not gonna go through the whole video.
Anybody following the Chicago?
Let's go through a little bit of it, okay? So.
Coming into the 2020s, J Boogie and the rest of the Bloodhounds would keep repping their new clique in their...
Okay, he does a whole like 45-minute thing on the guy's gang. It's called the Bloodhounds.
This was followed...
And, I'm going to skip past a lot of shit. Here we go.
Alleged body supposedly...
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
You know J Boogie, J Boogie under us, shorty. I was in the field and this did me. Like this Lil Jeff brother, like on David. I don't know how this gonna play out.
They say he ain't claiming the hood still,
but he Trap City.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
like,
from.
That's all weird,
do that
bro.
and you over Saturday night blood. Like you can't
But we already know Trap City and Drill City was the same. Bucky and Water, like that's our family.
Yeah.
So that chain incident really split it up? Or was it something else before then?
It was a chain, really. It was a chain, man. They tried to steal a chain. He ain't take it. I ain't trying to limit his image. You know what I'm saying?
I just feel like when it came to like when you went on some real, because we don't just move on situations. So we just feel like a lot of feel like it was just some dumb the chain on my soul. Like a from our hood being friendly, let them away your chain. Who does that?
We may never know exactly what took place, but what does seem clear is that following Z-Money's death, the Bloodhounds would cut all ties to their old friends around Trap City and Chris World. And as Jeff would rap in his feature on another Bloodhound rapper, Hotheads, aka Tank Montana's song, Still Walking, released in November 2023, losing his cousin would also make him lose his mind, with Jeff's focus from that point onwards seemingly being one thing and one thing alone, a get back that he would allegedly get during the summer of 2023.
Okay, so this is a Lil Jeff here. Some of you might not know him. He's a Chicago rapper. A lot of people always, they always bring up this Warren Chirac thing when it comes to me. My heart fell out of doing Warren Chirac when I realized I wasn't covering necessarily rap anymore. I was just covering murders. It didn't feel good. I started the Warren Chirac because I liked a few rappers. Lil Durk, Chief Keef, Lil Herb, aka G Herbo now, Lil Bibby, Lil Reese, Fredo Santana. I knew about the ancillary people. And I remember even the first time I did a video on D Rose. I didn't want to do a video on D Rose because these were street guys. They never rapped. Like, I'm the person, I get it, we have gangsters who have done real stuff and rap, but I never wanted to cover just crime. But when I started to cover, and this is why it became the Warren Chirac, people said, well, you're not covering the war in Chirac if you're not mentioning these ancillary people who Chief Keef is shouting out all the time. Chief Keef is dissing. Lil Reese is into it with him. And I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna do it because it's kind of the context for the music we're hearing, right? Around like I forgot the year I stopped doing it. Bro, these guys weren't even getting an established career enough to have a hit that anyone could know nationally. They were having these like maybe a local song. They would get a song that's like 100,000 views, which in the grand scheme of things, no disrespect, it's just nothing. These guys are dying. They're just dying out. And then I realized I was just like, the music isn't even a industry or a thing anymore for what these guys are doing. These guys are living a life of gangbanging. When I say gang, we're not talking about like West Coast gangbanging. These niggas doing some GDK shit or whatever, and it's just a bunch of revenge killings, okay? So I hear about this guy, Lil Jeff, but I haven't heard about a hit song from him. So when I start hearing about these things, I'm like, what the fuck? Anyway, let me play. So if you don't know who Lil Jeff is, that's the reason why I mentioned the Warren Chirac story is because that's why I stopped doing the Warren Chirac. This guy gets a 3-hour documentary and has never had a song touch the Billboard charts. This guy is now being heralded or looked at as some type of mythical serial killer with no consideration of the victims. But all he did when he did interviews was basically clown. It was street shit. This really wasn't music shit. So anyway, let me play a little bit.
When it comes to Lil Jeff and his alleged bodies, the rumours and theories tend to range from the absurd, suggesting that he's truly a demon catching all of these bodies, to pretty much complete denial that he ever killed anyone at all. But there's no doubt to me that Jeff was really in these streets though, with several videos circulating on Q50's Instagram years later showing that by 2024, Lil Jeff was indeed a hardened gangster riding around the city, constantly strapped with guns, ready to kill at a moment's notice. However, it would seemingly be a process of several years before he would become the hardened gang member he was known as today. In one of the earliest YouTube videos covering Jeff's alleged bodies, his rumoured murder spree stretches all the way back to September 2014, with his first alleged body supposedly being an 18-year-old who went by the name Mally Marl, real name Kamal Burton, who was allegedly affiliated with the A-Tray mob. Although the murder itself would take place in the far south side in the Old Geld Gardens community, at the time Jeff would have barely been a 12-year-old boy, seemingly gifted in basketball. He would have been spending most of his day.
See, this is the point where we're like, what are we talking about? This is a 12-year-old kid that supposedly catches his first body.
Days training for a career in the sport. Also, according to a CPD spokesperson, Marl was approached by two men who then opened fire. The idea of a scrawny 12-year-old Jeff being mistaken for a grown man in this case sounding pretty unlikely. But for further context, even Jeff's own brother Boogie would have still only been 16 years old at the time of Marl's murder, albeit he would arguably always look older than his age. In more time, we'll likely learn much more about Jeff in his younger years as things come out, but when it comes to his deeds in the streets, it's likely much more sensible to take his own account of his childhood seriously. As he would recount in his DJU interview, Jeff would allegedly truly get in the streets quite late in his life, around 2020, this being his last year in high school and graduation.
So around what age did you jump off the porch and start hanging out in the streets?
I'm gonna say when I came outside for real, I was like 18 type.
Okay.
I just turned like 18.
However, this certainly doesn't mean that Jeff's childhood was normal by any of broader society's standards, as Jeff would also open up to DJU, saying that his father was not in his life growing up, as he too, quote-unquote, stood on business. This perhaps being a reference to Jeffrey Harris Sr.'s alleged time in the streets with the 068 C block.
Let's say back then he wasn't around.
So I was acting weird as shit. I was acting bogus. He was cool. I'm dope, man. He be doing what he do.
So how did that affect you back then, though? Not having pops around?
OG stood on business, so, you know, that shit didn't matter for real.
But moreover, as we know now, Jeff's big brother, Jay Boogie, had clearly been in the Eerily, exactly 1 month after the murder of Crew on the 13th of April. Gutter would be caught on the 700 block of 79th Street, this location being a mere 4 minutes walk from the intersection of 79th and Maryland, one of the main spots that Jeff and other Bloodhound members have claimed in their music videos. However, when it comes to any actual proof that Jeff or the Bloodhounds were behind this murder, the evidence seems to be slim to none, with this particular case further muddled by the fact that Hit Squad would have another, much more known member called Gutter too, who would unfortunately also end up losing his life, in this case in 2015, allegedly by the Bloodhound affiliated set MTV 079, whose members have commonly dissed this Gutter over the years too. Another less commonly heard name in this YouTuber's list is an alleged member of the Evans mob called Black, real name Roger Lewis, who was a 33-year-old OG of his block, shot dead in a drive-by whilst driving in March 2022. The only problem with this theory is that Black's alleged killer was in fact charged already the following month in April 2022 and is now serving his sentence for the murder. Also in 2022, Jeff would end up losing someone seemingly very close to him, a man named Jamarian Loston, better known in the streets as J-Mo, who was allegedly part of the 06679 Alliance. There are some rumours that claim that it was this murder that motivated Jeff to catch his first body as revenge, this victim getting allegedly caught outside of a corner store or gas station, as Jeff and other Bloodhounds have implied in several songs. Later on, there would also be some rumours surfacing online that Jeff was supposedly even carrying out contract killings all the way in Milwaukee, with one Chiracologist dropping a picture in the comments of Jeff hanging out with some alleged local gang members from Milwaukee, with this picture being from a music video of the rappers Ghost, 53206, Super Throwed Feifei, and K-Rax called Plenty Missed Calls, released in July 2023. This outfit actually being the very same one that Jeff is wearing in his music video for the song N-Words B12, released on March 2023. In fact, even now, K-Rax still seemingly has Jeff as his profile picture on Instagram, which he likely changed following Jeff's death. Jeff and the other Bloodhounds would also later make several references to doing contract killings and to Milwaukee, with JB Bin Laden rapping in the song Run But Can't Hide that also features Lil Jeff, how the Bloodhounds have, but also many.
Okay, he gives a lot of details here. Basically, he's saying that this guy was just killing people.
The clapping of hands would eventually become somewhat of a trademark for Q50 when referring to killing ops or getting back for Z-Money.
Y'all move out here. Everybody probably see y'all got the Z-Money tattoo on your face. It's probably real noticeable.
You know that. You see, that's that related. That's that get back for my man. That's that get back for my man. That's that get back for my man.
Y'all basically let us know who that too. We see y'all keep his name alive every chance y'all get.
That's cuz. That's our cousin, folks. Me and folks cousin. You see, folks them see those real sandbox, baby.
Let us know like the impact he had on the hood that he.
You see it tattoo on my face. You see that? Hey, look, relentless. It's brothers. That's like that. Look. The same I cried about, you know.
Anyway, more Trap City members would soon enter the chat, aiming their disses particularly at Q50, saying how he just came outside in 2020 and pointing out that he has Z-Money tatted on his face but hasn't even known him for over 5 years, as well as saying that he used to be just a gamer, to which Q50 would once again respond simply by clapping one of his ops in a bowl, this more specifically meaning a fishbowl, which is a reference to somebody being caught in a car with Rob changing their Facebook profile pictures to pictures of.
So they're going through supposedly this guy killing 11 people.
Enough, mamas will start getting all type of my shit on right. My shit really up. Them purse fuck with my head, face ass, neck ass, back ass.
It's also worth noting that D-Money was seemingly close with numerous members of Trap City and would do stuff like promote their music and wish as little as $3,000, along with a matching chain that reads Bartier, which I guess would make sense for the Bloodhounds if they were swapping the C's with B's like old school Bloods when they were buying a chain to match the Cartier watch. But clearly, this was no 50 grand lick, and arguably such a small taking that the robbery would certainly not end up being worth the consequences that would come soon after, as despite the low value of the items taken, it would be the damage to the ego of the person the items were taken from that would escalate the situation severely. Jeff too would seemingly later open up about these events, saying that nobody took anything from him by force, but rather they ran off with them when he wasn't paying attention.
Public service announcement. On my dead grandmother's head, if I'm lying, I'm down. God could come pull me out this car right now. I never took a dollar from nothing. A nigga said, let me take a picture of this, that, and that. I look up, the nigga then ran down. We all the way at the top of the staircase first off. The nigga then ran. I look up, the nigga taking off down the stairs with 5 more extra. Oh man! I'm like, damn, I thought it was gangster. The whole time I'm right there still working with him. I'm telling them we could keep this gangster and be gangster. And I respect it's gonna be what it's gonna be to keep this gangster. There's one gangster.
Then, on January the 20th, a Chicago-based YouTuber, Word from the Trenches, would upload a vlog where he hangs out with the BKN members in their hood, with this vlog also including a member called Monty, who also goes by the name Drench, or Czar, and who would allegedly be one of the people involved in Lil Jeff's robbery.
Who that?
Mohammed Ashik describes diving for cover as bullets were flying, witnessing the aftermath, an emotional scene unfold.
How much that is on your wrist right there, man?
I'm skimming through this. It's a three-hour long video, and you know, we're not watching the whole thing.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on.
Only 6 days after the release of this vlog, on Friday the 26th of January 2024, Monty and another member of BKN or Jungle called Lil Rob, real name Robert Boston, would be attending the Innovations High School located in downtown Chicago.
This is the saddest part about the whole thing. You often hear people in high school and kids, like they're killing children. If you ever want to get disgusted at drill music, you get to realize when they're telling you they're smoking on Tuka, you get to realize how old Tuka was. When they're telling you that, you know, even like Jacksonville shit, yo, where they're talking about Bibby or they're talking about whoever else, these are like kids. Like, they're not talking about like a grown-ass man. Like, they're talking about children.
Chicago, more specifically in an area called Loop, and then, close to 12:30 p.m, Monty and Lil Rob, together with other students, were seemingly heading out of the school, likely going on their lunch break, with one exit being next to the Washington or Warbush L train station, a very busy location, particularly during the lunch hour. Soon after
yeah, like, no, and I don't mean to pause again, but it's like when, yeah, it sounded cool in songs when they were saying they were smoking on Tuka, till you realize Tuka was a 15-year-old kid that got murdered. Now, if you're like 18, maybe you don't give a fuck. But like, if you're like a 30-year-old man, like, it's hard to like get into music that's like glorifying killing a 15-year-old. It's like, this was your biggest op, 15-year-old kid. Your biggest op was little JoJo riding on a bicycle. It just doesn't hit the same.
Exiting the school building, two cars would suddenly pull up with several masked shooters hopping out of the cars and opening fire towards Monty and Lil Rob. After the shooting was over, someone standing on the train platform above the street level would capture the truly disturbing scene of the last moments of the two young boys who had been shot, whilst their friends and members of the public crowd around them in sheer shock, with some attempting to do what little they could to try and save their lives. Unfortunately, there was nothing to be done, and both Monty and Lil Rob were later pronounced dead in the Northwestern Memorial Hospital, while a third unrelated victim would be grazed in her jacket, the bully fortunately missing her body. Not long after the shooting, the area would be bustling with local media who would interview witnesses that had seen or heard the shooting, including the woman who had just nearly missed getting shot herself.
Went through my arm, but
during that shooting, Berenice Vargas says she was grazed with one of the bullets.
I heard like 4 shots, and that was all super anxious and sad, and I was afraid that it hit me too by accident.
Another witness would describe the shots being let off, sounding like a firecracker, perhaps meaning that at least one of the shooters was using a switch on their pistol.
Like a firecracker, you know, like something like a firecracker, you know, like a 10-15 shot. Boom, 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 boom.
Local shopkeeper Mohammed Ashik describes diving for cover as bullets were flying, witnessing the aftermath, an emotional scene unfolding right in front of him.
Everybody looking right and left, you know, over there has a people crying, you know, kids crying, you know.
All of this happening near Innovations High School, where the two boys were students. Crisis responder Andrew Holmes speaking with the boys' families Friday night.
The 16-year-old just had a smile, that he kept a smile. The 17-year-old, you know, he was just trying to work hard to just go into the trade business.
Holmes furious, like many other community members, about the brazen events that unfolded. He says one of those boys would be celebrating a birthday in just weeks.
You have no right to take another person's life like that. And you know, this is a brutal way. This is cold-blooded murder.
Mayor Brandon Johnson responding to the shooting, writing, quote, "My deepest condolences to their families and the Innovations High School community as they grapple with unimaginable pain and trauma caused by this senseless act of violence."
In the aftermath, even the mayor of Chicago would comment on the senselessness of this attack, and the situation was so serious that it would actually be covered citywide on numerous Chicago news reports, including ABC 7 Chicago.
As two families and a community mourn the slaying of the teens, Chicago police continue their search for the gunman responsible responsible for the brazen downtown daylight ambush that claimed the boys' lives. It appears to be business as usual just a day after 2 teens are gunned down in front of their downtown high school. Many of the bullet-riddled windows have been boarded up following the slaying of 16-year-old Robert Boston and 17-year-old Monterio Williams. Friends say the boys knew each other, and so did their families. Investigators say both teens were shot and killed Friday afternoon near Wabash and Washington Streets as they left school with a group of friends. The teens were students at CPS Charter School Innovations High School. That's when witnesses say a dark-colored car and a dark-colored SUV pulled up and masked gunmen got out and opened fire. Authorities say while some of the attackers got away in the vehicles, at least 2 of them ran away. The wounded students were rushed to an area hospital where they both were pronounced dead. Investigators call the attack isolated and are combing through security camera video from the area. So far, no one is in custody and no arrests have been made. Police are asking anyone with any information to contact Area 3 police detectives.
Already on the night of the 26th, the police would also give a press briefing on the investigation so far, showing that the CPD was likely taking this case much more seriously than an average South or West Side shooting due to the extremely central location of this double murder.
First of all, I'd like to start out by offering our condolences.
All right, anyway. Bunch of deaths, sorry to say.
Basically let us know who that too. We see y'all keep his name alive every chance y'all get.
That's cuz. That's our cousin, folks. Me and folks' cousin. You see, folks them see us. Real sandbox, baby.
Let us know like the impact he had on the hood that he.
You see.
Okay, yeah. I think I could play from here going on.
With Q50, whilst humorously calling the stuff Tony Montana, making many believe that Jeff was in fact taking uppers, not downers, before describing himself as a functional cluck, meaning a functional drug addict.
Yeah, but y'all not having no troubles to where y'all gotta around go to rehab or nothing, right?
Hell nah. Hell nah.
Shit ain't good deep.
That's cluck.
See you roll that scratch in your face.
I'm a functional cluck. I can function and I can move and think and do and still live my everyday life.
DJU would also bring up Jeff's supposed 10 bodies, asking why the internet is painting him to be such a monster, with Jeff replying how all of the rumors about him are just coming from Reddit, showing that Jeff was indeed well aware of the infamy and dedicated fan base that he was building amongst Reddit's hardcore drill fan community with his wild antics in the streets and on songs.
You wanna know? I'm gonna tell you right now why I thought you was from the UK. Cause they said Bloodhound Lil Jeff got 10 bodies. I said, okay, well he can't be in Iraq then. This must be, you feel me? In the UK, you know what I'm saying? Let's talk about the real Bloodhound Lil Jeff, right? Why these folks on the internet make you out to be this monster?
I don't know, for they ass up in the head.
So look, I just watched shout out to SNTV, right? Street News TV.
What the fuck is that?
Let me cite my source. He made a video about you. It says Bloodhound Lil Jeff. Is he self-snitching or clout chasing? It's the video I watched today. And man, in the first 60 seconds of the video, he refers to you as an example of what not to do for the youth. He said, man, this guy right here, this is what y'all should not do. You know what I mean? And he kind of broke down, some stuff he found online. So where are these, type of rumors coming from?
The grapevine. That's coming off Reddit, man. That's how you found me, right?
Yeah.
That gotta stop, bro.
This is not real.
You definitely heavy on Reddit, for sure. You get posted on there like almost every day.
DJU would also ask Jeff about him always having so many watches, with Jeff trolling by responding that really, the people are just letting him have them.
Another thing I picked up online from your social media activity is you be having a lot of watches.
You see this? Man, this ain't just come on.
Where you be getting all these fly watches from?
That's sweet.
Okay.
$3.99.
So free be giving them to me, really. They just be letting them keep them type shit. Like, they put them on, I just keep them.
They be friendly as hell.
Word. I see he's still on your wrist, right?
Have them, bro.
So it was a situation where a guy tried to get high and he lost his watch.
Nah, what time? Where you read that shit?
On Reddit.
Yeah. See, some of that shit you gotta tell you.
Oh no, but they picked it up off your video. You said that you tried to get a $10 whatever y'all call
talking about that shit. I thought you was saying I was trying to get high. Oh yeah. Yeah, man.
Listen about now.
Yeah. That one about it for real.
Right.
He let me see this.
Yeah.
I thought, cause I don't put them.
Chilling in a big Airbnb.
Hey, Andre, what you want?
So basically, while all this killing and robberies going on, this guy career, Lil Jeff, is taking off a little bit because he's getting the attention of labels. The music clearly is like taking off.
Driving in fancy cars.
They got us, here's what it is, shit, I'm going back.
What you on, man?
Free phone now. I owe jail call for the guys, man.
Shopping.
That's the escalator right there, man.
That's what we doing, we leaving.
We just had to make this force to pull the camera out. We won't pull the camera out. Stay right here. Come on, get that J in up. Get that in up.
And of course, hanging out and recording new music in the studio.
Hold on, Bert. I gotta get close. I cannot miss. Ain't nothing wrong. I gotta switch. Do the news.
Dahmer on the way.
They next to the news. White.
1M on the way. You at 300K.
300.
300,000 views on that. Jamie Foxx.
The vlog ends with the 12th of May, whilst the party seemingly being planned for Saturday the 11th.
You ready to go back home?
You know that party on Saturday for Scoom's birthday.
Unfortunately, the day after Scoom's birthday party, and on the actual day of his birthday, on the 12th of May, another young man would lose his life. This man being a 22-year-old named Khalil Dunbar, who was better known in the streets as an alleged member of the 8-Tray mob called Baby KD. According to news reports, KD had been in an alley near the 10800 block of South Indiana Avenue, this area being far away from the hood of the 8-Tray mob, when he was shot in the neck and taken to the Christ Medical Center, where he would later pass away. KD had seemingly been close friends with both Clay and True, the 8-Tray member, and began to clap toes now because he can no longer count with his fingers. Before simply update, Jeff would soon seemingly begin to claim this murder as well, as he would go on live on Instagram and officially update his body count, saying that he's on his toes now because he can no longer count with his fingers, before simply stating, F it, it's 11.
Hold your wrist up. Hey, when he play this, y'all know what the going on. I'm on my toes. We got his soul. I wanna bust his toe. Don't play with him. Feet is out. Yeah, he want. Yeah. This shit ain't free. That shit ain't. I'm gonna bust it. 3 fight. That shit's 11. You gonna be 8 and I'ma scan your scary to hell, nigga.
Q50 would also make his official body count update in late May, saying how he's up 8 now, whilst back in March 2024, the number had seemingly still been just 7. After supposedly coming back for a quick birthday bash and a murder, Jeff would then soon head back to LA to continue living the rapper lifestyle again with Vert and Scoom, this time right in time for Vert's birthday, which was on the 26th of May. During this trip, Jeff would end up linking with several Chicago drill legends, including Rico Reckless and G Herbo.
We the rappers that rap the rappers.
That rapper, we rap against Christmas. Ain't no duplicating this. We rap shit like it's Christmas. Boy, we kill for real.
I say, Lil Vert, Lil Jeff, because they different, bro. They ain't trying to rap.
We rapping, we crapping, we trapping.
Them did what they did, man.
We mapping.
Ain't no light right here. Ain't no light right here.
Nah, I'm gonna get off the phone though.
He would also be shooting music videos with his manager AMF, one of these being the music video for the song LAX, released on May the 28th. The song itself being a tribute to the city that Jeff returned to after allegedly catching his 11th body, where Jeff once again aims disses at Monty, saying how he turns Czar into Czar, with this being an obvious play on one of Monty's nicknames being Czar, and with Czar also referring to a strain of high-grade cannabis, as well as likely being a reference to the vlog, where Monty himself says they call him Czar, and he'll smoke your dumb ass like some Czar.
Hey, y'all already know my name. Czar, they call me Czar. Smoke your dumb like some Czar.
The song itself racked up 25,000 views in its first day of uploading, which isn't superstar numbers, but telling of a genuinely engaged core fan base that Jeff was cultivating at the moment. Jeff was showing potential in music, but his lyrics were so demonic, it was hard to imagine his story ending any other way than tragedy. And unfortunately for him, soon he would end up in the sort of situations that he always rapped about putting other people in. And just like his ops, soon the whole world will be logging onto the internet to see the demise of the latest killer drill rapper in 4K.
Okay, this is the last part right here.
Lil Jeff's strategy of bragging about his insane body count in his songs and acting wild in his interviews was picking up steam. He'd already been going viral for his clip sniffing a pill on DJU, and on the 1st of June, a YouTuber called Blender Bars dropped a video that was reposted on Reddit claiming that Lil Jeff had indeed claimed his 11th body during his LA trip, claiming that he indeed did a drill between these two trips to Los Angeles, and being one of the earliest exposés of Lil Jeff's staggering stats as a Chicago gang assassin.
He claims to have 10 bodies at least, and we have lyrics to match up with 2 of the bodies that he proudly claims after the ops supposedly hit a lick for some of his watches.
By June the 3rd, his music video for the track Should've Saw It had 199,000 views, passing 200k the following day. Jeff was having the motion in music, and whilst this was only the beginning, he clearly had a lot of potential in the rap game. Unfortunately, however, as he often rapped himself, he was always more focused on the streets than the music, and only a few days later, he would end up on the wrong side of the sort of drills he usually was dishing out on the streets. On the 8th of June 2024, everything came crashing down for Lil Jeff and the Bloodhounds in dramatic fashion. After countless lyrics about jumping out of the car as soon as he sees his ops and shooting at them, the 8th of June was a day like no other, and in surveillance footage that was later leaked, we saw this was another day when Jeff, Q50, and another man indeed caught one of their ops, jumping out of the car outside of an address on South Rhodes Avenue, a street that Jeff and his friends had boastfully rapped about shooting up numerous times before. In the footage, if you look at the very top left of the frame, you can see a door of a car opening. This is Lil Jeff jumping out of the car, and he immediately begins shooting at a man wearing bright yellow shorts who ducks behind a car and runs up a porch into a house whilst being chased by Jeff, who continues shooting at him. He would then seemingly be chased by Jeff wearing a black Nike Tech hoodie and grey Nike Tech joggers and pointing a gun, with Jeff doing something that he had indeed rapped about doing numerous times, chasing an op into their own home. But at this point, Lil Jeff got something he didn't bargain for, as someone inside the house would begin to open fire on Jeff, neutralizing him before he even made it up the steps, sending him flying back onto the ground at the bottom of the porch. And here on the ground, Jeff was reportedly shot numerous times, with the implication being that his shooters emptied a whole magazine into him from atop the porch. Then we would see another angle from a different camera which recorded the sounds of the shots being fired into Jeff, as well as showing Q50 and another shooter, as well as the driver on the hit behind Jeff, walking to the porch and returning fire, with Q50 seemingly shooting at a passing car for some reason, likely in this moment earning himself an attempted murder charge. Some have suggested that the original target that Jeff had chased was talking to the person driving in the car that Q50 was shooting at as it drove past. Meanwhile, once the driver of the getaway car notices that Jeff has actually been killed on the ground, getting out to look, before all the men realize that it's too late to save Jeff, running back to the car, getting in, and fleeing the scene without Jeff, as shots continue to hit Jeff laying on the ground. Interestingly, another camera angle would later surface, showing that when Q50 initially ran towards the porch, he slipped over and fell as he tried to let off shots, injuring his ankle, with Q50 being seen with a limp as he ran back to the car. And while Jeff was laying on the ground, he would reportedly be hit 19 times, and an insane total of 58 shell casings would ultimately be found at the scene of the shootout. And after it all went down, reports of the shooting would begin to circulate on Twitter, and police scanner audio would describe a chaotic scene. A later video by YouTuber Loyalty and Betrayal would actually do a full breakdown of the scanner audio.
302 Sam, we're hitting 12 rounds, 6639 South Roads.
Trade 10. Anybody go in there, be careful, this might be crossfire.
And, yep. Per 310, anybody heading over there to roads, use caution because this may be crossfire, and now we getting a person shot. 6647 South Roads.
306 Sam, we got multiple casings, 6641 South Roads, on the front porch and the sidewalk.
Multiple shell casings, 6641 South Roads. On the front and the sidewalk, on the front porch as well. 6641 South Road. Alright, they saying somebody's doing a self-transport right now. They're telling my partner on the phone. We're trying to figure out what car took them. 306 Adam.
Yeah, 306 Adam. One of the residents at 6641 says they threw a guy in the car and they're on their way to the hospital. I got some blood drops on 6641.
Black SUV, Adam Lincoln King 3937, Wisconsin plates, just dropped off a victim at UFC. They're going northbound on Maryland. It's a black SUV with Wisconsin plates, Adam Lincoln King 3937, northbound Maryland. For a black SUV, Adam Lincoln King 3937 with Wisconsin plates, they just dropped off a victim at UFC that was shot. And that vehicle stolen.
Footage would later circulate showing the Chicago police combing the crime scene, placing a whole bunch of evidence markers where the many shell casings had been left. But interestingly, at the crime scene, Jeff's body was notably absent. That's because apparently Q50 and the other man seemingly took Jeff's body to the hospital after the shootout, somehow managing to spin the block, coming back and retrieving Jeff's body from the porch where he died without taking any more bullets themselves. An image would later go around online which seemingly showed Q50 and the other man carrying Jeff's body into the hospital. But it didn't take long for the dust to settle on the actual shooting before the footage of the shooting began circulating on Reddit's Chiracology subreddit, where many were quick to give their perspective on this wild modern-day shootout captured on camera, with many suggesting that Jeff and the Bloodhounds had actually underestimated their opposition and ended up outgunned after being overzealous. As one commenter put it, honestly, the video puts it more out of the actual perspective of what it looked like in real life, because cameras only see a certain angle. They actually were only like 20 foot behind him, with the car being like 80 foot at most. They were behind him, he just ran ahead and got overzealous and got blasted for it. Hindsight is 20/20, my G. Granted, they did turn back the minute they realized there was more opposition than they thought, but by that point, they were in a full-blown shootout. Dude in the red got hit, and they were in the middle of the road with only cars for cover. Once they realized they were outgunned and got to the car, is when Jeff got fully overkilled, and the dude in the white saw it all and let the switch off a few times in a futile attempt. No one's fault but Jeff, and he literally got instant karma. For those that knew Lil Jeff and his activities in the streets, they would know what was to come next. The day after his death, on the 9th of June 2024, Jeff's close family members and friends would react to his death with heartbreak, with some saying that they were staring at his picture in disbelief and saying that his brother Jay Boogie is going to lose his mind when he finds out the news. Jeff's dad posted throwback images of Jeff with his half-brothers together with the caption, F the world. Q50 would say that his brother and twin is gone, but he's already done crying and planning to do exactly what Jeff told him to do. Vert would later discuss how Jeff's death affected him in a DJU interview where he seemed a little intoxicated and slurring, explaining that everything was still going on.
We saw, I guess, what happened on camera or whatever. Lil Jeff lost his life. How has that affected you, since?
It's brother, it's my twin. You know, I don't feel that shit hurt. It's my brother, you know? Yeah. But it's like, I can't stop. For what? I'm gonna stop for. They want me to be stopped. They want me, Yeah. This shit don't stop. Shit all gonna still go on. Brother gonna live through us, And my brother, I feel with a big face pendant on my shorty. You hear me? So I'm on right there.
At some point, a vigil and balloon release was held in Jeff's honor, and a day later, on the 10th of June, a Bloodhound member would say that all the ops saluted Jeff for the work he put in on the streets and hinted towards revenge coming soon. And Jeff's dad would even respond on Facebook with an eerie post saying, "Let it be known."
This was wild. Imagine your dad posting this after you die.
Y'all didn't get him, he came trying to get y'all, and what happened. But the saga continues, clear the streets, with some in the comments in disbelief that a father would be talking about his son like he was one of his homies in the gang, branding.
Imagine your dad said clear the streets after you die. Basically saying that, whoever is outside about to get shot.
Jeff's father a goofy who actually failed his child. But Jeff's dad wasn't the only person with a connection to Jeff acting tough online. On the 18th of June 2020.
All right, enough. Okay, so yeah, this is like a cycle we're seeing where these rappers are not even getting a hit. Honestly, they're not even really focused on rap. They're building like this cult following from people seeing how real they are. Music is subpar at best, and people are just kind of like following the train of thought of what the fuck is going to come next. So it is what it is. Anyway, rest in peace to YBC Duel, and also rest in peace to Lil Jeff. But these weren't like some guys who were like, just being upstanding men in society. They were just